If there's one thing you don't want to get compromised, it's the culture of this football team. And let me tell you, I think the damage has already been done, and Nick Sirianni has no control over what's going on right now. I can see when there's bad play calling, bad execution on the field, bad coaching, you name it. But once that culture has been compromised, has been damaged, there is no going back, and it might be too late. So we're going to go over Vic Fangio's press conference, everything that was said there, more on Darius Slay, and a little bit of news on Devin White and what he did on Sunday's game and why potentially there could be a trade moving forward. So let's get straight into all the news.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I hope everyone's trying to enjoy their week. You know, this is a good week for us fans as much as we think that we're getting somewhat of a mental break from this team. It just doesn't seem to end with endless BS everything. Okay, before we get into all of the news, this video is sponsored by BetUS, and this is a word from our sponsors at BetUS. If I'm the betting man that I am and you're rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles, this is the redemption year for Jalen Hurts. This is the year we get the bad taste out of our mouths from last season. If I'm going all in, ride or die with a Super Bowl and bringing that Lombardi trophy back to Philadelphia for a second time, you need to go to BetUS, and I'm not wasting any time with it. I'm putting $500 down as the risk and getting $7,000 back at the end of the year because this offense is going to be explosive. This defense by Vic Vangio is going to be dynamic. A 150% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. Click the link in the description below. Start betting and start winning. All right, so a lot to discuss here regarding Darius Slay, because we are not done with this situation because it seems like it's just continuing. And I think this is a heavy involvement in Nick Sirianni starting to really lose his control over everything very slowly. Because it seems like, you know, as much as the play calling can be bad, the execution can be bad. The coaching can be bad. We can name everything. All the crap these coaches are saying are really stupid, bar none. But when it comes down to the culture of this team right now, I think it has been damaged because I do not see these coaches really putting a handle on these players on what they should or shouldn't do. Okay, we saw Darius Slay with the opposition talking to a rival on a podcast, laughing at a player, and him not thinking that this is going to piss fans off. That he said, quote unquote, on a another tweet that he put out saying that he doesn't, all he wants to do is work and have fun, and he doesn't understand like the damage he is doing on top of coming off a really bad game 24 hours later, a day after a loss. This is how you're acting. And this isn't the only thing that's going on right now. So this was about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson during this conversation. Both of these guys that have the most annoying podcasts are laughing about it. And then Chauncey Gardner-Johnson goes on Instagram and says, damn, ... Okay, which means like, man, like you don't see Chauncey going and talking about stuff like this. You don't see any other player on this team going on podcasts, doing different things. And, you want to see who's taking these losses seriously, and this is one player in Darius Slay that is not doing it. I don't care if he's the third highest graded greatest corner. When it comes to being targeted or whatever the statistics are, it does not matter to me because this is going to leave a bad taste in the mouths behind the scenes of some of these players. Okay, now you start to wonder why Matt Patricia didn't like him that much, and now I think I completely understand why Matt Patricia didn't like him in Detroit and why Matt Patricia tried to have more of a dictatorship and really put some strict rules on these players. Now I really don't blame him and his views on Darius Slay. But to come it's crazy now. Like Slay has been blocking people on Twitter, on X constantly. It's getting that bad. there are fans, they're not even tagging him. He's not even getting tagged in posts. So it looks like Slay or his wife or whoever's doing it for him, or unless he's doing it himself, is blocking Eagle fans all over the place. This gives me the Rager vibes. The only difference is Slay's not in the DMs answering to other fans and talking a bunch of crap. And I just think this is such a low move, guys. Just so low. We talked about the other day, but now Chauncey's got a bad taste in his mouth. His teammates are going to be like, dude, like, what are you doing? I understand, like, you have the freedom to go do a podcast, but bro, this isn't a week, 2 weeks later. This is a day later. Like, you start this shit once again. The guy just can't help himself. I don't think he cares about where this team goes this year. He is just one of those, I got my money, I'll act how I want to act, and that's really it. And obviously seeing what he did yesterday or a couple days ago, where after the loss, he literally goes on X because he knows he's going to be a target because he had a horrible game, and he puts all of his stats. Well, before you come attack me, here are my accolades of my career, putting his statistics up online, which was one of the most like why? I mean, one of the most like cringy things that he could do is like, oh, you know, I play. See, when he plays good, he'll throw the team under the bus. But then when he plays bad, his excuse is, look what I've done in my career. It's the most sorry ass shit I have ever really been. I mean, social media it kills everything now. It really does. I wish it never existed because then you wouldn't see this crap every single day. Okay? Because of who he is, he has weight to what he says, especially for a very diehard fan base. And that's just, I don't know. To me, it's just a bad taste, man. I don't like it. So throughout this process, I'm really starting to think now. The trade deadline is near. Is keeping Slay the rest of the year a good move for the Eagles? Or if they're already going to trade him after this year, because Slay will not be here after this year, we already know this, to trade him or to wait till he retires at the end of this year, is that the good move? Okay, now I really regret him not signing with the Ravens last year, where he almost went to the Ravens, but then came back, got more money, and all the crap that happened last year that I held him accountable for, between when Seth Joyner called him out on not being aggressive on tackling, that these corners are not aggressive enough, and he got really triggered by the whole thing. And, you know, I'm not going to tackle this way. I mean, seriously, like, what? Why is there so many? I've never seen such a whiny, more nonchalant, don't give a crap after a loss type player. I mean, this is a guy. Okay, this is a guy that literally after the Falcons game literally gets beat on the easiest, barely even covers Drake London, gets beat so easily on that last play of that drive by the Falcons, and he's smiling with Drake London, and he's going up to him saying good route, doesn't look pissed off, doesn't look like he wants to at least use that anger into next week and motivate himself. Like, it's just such weak mentality. I feel like as of right now, I think Quignon is up to speed. I think the other young guys are up to speed. Having him in the room was obviously valuable for the younger corners of the future of this team. But honestly, guys, I honestly wouldn't mind him getting traded at this point. I honestly wouldn't, to be honest with you. I'd rather throw somebody in there, have him work after the bye week, get prepared for the Cleveland Browns, and call it a day. I don't care if they get a 7th-round pick for 2078. It doesn't matter to me. Okay? There's teams out there that need corners. You know what I mean? I don't care what the dead cap is. I don't care what it is. I think if you're going to have a young secondary after this year, even younger than this year, and you're going to make the move anyway, whether you move Keely Ringo to number 2. I think Quignon Mitchell is prepared. I think he is ready. I think he's getting better every single game because I think Quignon Mitchell is going to be a superstar. That's just me. And to be honest with you, do we really need this type of behavior for the Philadelphia Eagles this year? I don't think we need it, and I don't think we need him, really. Does this really matter at this point? Start the young guys, get the young bucks rolling that I know that are going to appreciate their opportunity, and they won't make excuses after games on social media, because Slay needs to be the limelight of you know what I mean? Because in his mind, when he loses a game and he knows he plays a bad game, he knows he's going to be a target. But the best thing he could do is just shut the fuck up. That's it. Just shut your mouth and talk about something else. Talk about something completely different. Talk to other receivers around the league, or do some different things with the podcast instead of, how you played and how the team played. And no one gives a shit. So I honestly think that a trade would really it's not even really because of this stuff. I've always said to myself, like, I want Isaiah Rodgers to get a shot. I want Isaiah Rodgers to play on the other side, which he hasn't. Can't play inside, can't play on the opposite side because he hasn't played on the opposite side. But I think they should give other guys a chance. And I know we'll get more out of those young guys than Slay, at least mentality-wise. Is it a downgrade? No, but look, I know Ringo, when he got into when he was pushed into a game a couple weeks ago, they're going to target him immediately. Guy hasn't played since preseason, but obviously with some reps under his belt, who knows what he could do. But I think that would be the best thing for the Eagles right now. And Nick Sirianni, this all comes down on him losing this roster. I think behind the scenes, now players aren't going to come out and say they don't like Nick because they know that the press is going to be the worst on this team right now. They're afraid to say all of that. So the best decision they can make right now, and honestly, whether he's here, I'm not against him being here, but let me tell you, I know mentality-wise and play and no excuses, and guys that really want to get their shot are more deserving than this attention-seeking, I'm put on pressure and I put up my stats, and then when I play good, I throw my team under the bus. I don't like guys like that. This is why you want to start the guys that are drafted in Philadelphia. This is why you want to have the guys in Philadelphia that understand he's not homegrown in Philadelphia. Totally not. We know this. Okay? As an older vet that's been around a long time, it's very upsetting that he acts like this. And I think we should be done with it. Rip the Band-Aid off and be done with it. Because I think just having him here is going to be a waste of time, especially if we lose more games. At least, I know the next guy that's behind Slay will hold himself accountable, that won't be smiling after a game, that won't be making it everything a damn joke all the time. Mr. fucking jokester. Go hang out with your wife. Go hang out with your fucking 10 kids. Go do something else with your fucking career. Because this ain't for you. Being in this city ain't good for you. Go to another team. Go to a shittier team or a better team. Go chase a ring. Go do something. I don't know what to tell you. So that's where I'm at with the whole Slay situation really going forward, okay? Now, Vic Fangio had his press conference the other day. We can talk about the offense as much as we want and the coaching, but let me tell you, the defense was the worst. You can't look, I said, you could put blame on the offense, on Hurts, on Nick, play calling, is Kellen Moore calling the play, whatever it is. But the defense did nothing. Okay, you come from a Saints game from the Superdome. The defense was holding it down. I mean, this game was atrocious. So the things that were said within this game, okay, Vic Fangio talked about Bryce Huff, okay, and as much as he will say, oh, he's improving. Oh, yeah, he improved to 2 pressures instead of 0, so that's an improvement, I guess. But he also said that he's frustrated. The whole coaching staff is frustrated with Bryce Huff, and Howie Roseman needs to get the question asked, why isn't he improving right now? What's going on with this guy? Is there something going on behind the scenes we don't know? But this is just dead weight of a waste of my breath, a waste of my lungs to even talk about for Bryce Huff. Just the edge rushing position is one of the worst right now. This is the weakest defensive line we've had in years. And they're not playing consistent, okay? Sidney Brown is a positive for the Philadelphia Eagles. It looks like they will activate the 21-day practice window after week 5 Okay, or sorry, during week 5 or after week 5, the week of coming out of the week 5 bye, which is a great thing. The guy hasn't played since last January. The guy is coming off of ACL surgery. He's looked more ahead than anything. Sidney Brown, we don't even have DeJean playing. We don't even have Sidney Brown playing in this defense yet. That's why I'm saying, like, you have a lot of not only just players that can play for your defense, but Sidney Brown is a great hybrid player that could play corner, that could play safety. And honestly, I've liked him more as a safety since he's been here. And let me tell you, man, that's a guy that works really hard, and I can't wait to see him in this secondary. The guy hasn't been physical, he hasn't been in full pads, he hasn't really done nothing. So it's gonna take him more. It's gonna take him a lot more to come back. Bradbury will be back very soon, so it's gonna be very crowded to see what they do here. Going forward, obviously, I'm keeping Sidney Brown over Bradbury at safety. I would trade Bradbury at this point if coming off of the injury that he has in a few weeks, couple weeks between week 6 to week 9, he'll be back probably. But Sidney Brown, man, I think is going to be a great player in the future, and might not get playing time till maybe another. I don't know, maybe another 3 weeks, probably. I can't say, even if they activate the practice window, I don't think he's going to get much playing time until he's acclimated to getting the pads on, getting physical. Again, it takes a lot to come back. You could run around with no pads on and acting like you're ready, but you're not fully ready. You have to get back into your football shape after, going through, getting, regarding this injury and just getting better every single month. So I think he's a lot further than expected, but he still needs to get those pads on, start getting physical, and we'll have Sidney Brown back as soon as possible going forward. Now, regarding just the defense in general and how they started that game against Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was getting the ball out 2.2 seconds. That quick. Where they were dumping off the ball to a running back where they guaranteed a 7 to 9 yard run without being touched at this point. But now you're missing more out of your secondary that could be coming back. And one of those players that is even worse for the Philadelphia Eagles right now is Avonte Maddox. It looks like Cooper DeJean is closing in on being the starting nickel coming off the bye. And I hope that's the case. We all know that Cooper DeJean did miss a huge pretty much all of training camp, most likely, except that last preseason game. He came back for joint practices and limited. He was limited only to like 12 to 15 snaps during those practices and has gotten into games here and there. And as a punt returner, thank God he's not hurt because he got, almost got laid out a couple times. Almost got injured, and thank God that didn't happen. But getting Cooper DeJean, a huge upgrade. Avonte Maddox on the whiff tackles. Avonte Maddox is cooked, especially on the inside. There was a time where when he did stay healthy, he was one of the most underrated inside corners in the league, but he has fallen off. He is healthy, but man, it's not just him that can't tackle. The whole team had issues tackling. There was like 15 missed tackles, probably more, who knows. But man, the whiff tackle on Chris Godwin on the flat, I mean, that's just really bad coaching, and that's just a really bad play by Avonte Maddox. A one-on-one situation where probably DeJean probably would have made that tackle. Had a big issue on the tackling aspect in this game. Just the inconsistencies from game to game. You can't play good, play bad, play literally non-existent. You played non-existent. So as much as you're giving cushion in these games, you're playing non-existent going forward. So it's not great. It's not great at all. Another thing too, we talked about all the cushion that they were giving in that game. 2.2 seconds on the release from Baker Mayfield. Okay. Now he says, Vic Fangio said Bucks kept throwing short and his guys were playing too far off. Couldn't get them to second and third and long. Said he told players to get tighter. You told players to get tighter when? Down the line of this game? When you're down 3 scores, 21-0? I didn't see them playing tighter until literally probably the last series of the second quarter, till like literally the second half. You waited that long to play tighter? Come on now, dude. Why aren't the adjustments made? There was no adjustments made. At least like after 2 scores, I would have seen. I mean, after at least 2 series, I would have figured that they would have played a little bit close to their chest a little bit, giving away that cushion the way they did. He honestly told them to play tighter way long after they got scored on 3 times. So I don't get that aspect of the coaching, him sitting in the booth, noticing that this is happening play after play after play after play. Easy chunk yards, short passing yards, no pressure from your defense, no adjustments being made, no blitzing, barely even 2 stunts. I think he stunned once in the game with his defensive line. I mean, I honestly don't get this coach as a coach that's been coaching for 30 years to look like this, for your defense to not even be prepared for that week. Not even physically, but mentally, where were they at? They looked like they were just out there going through the motions. But you have the excuse of saying that they needed to tighten up. I tried, you know what I mean? They need to tighten up. I told them they had to tighten up. Like, when was that? Because it wasn't the first 3 series for the defense in the game. So I don't get all that. And yeah, we heard from Nick Sirianni that him and Vic Fangio went over every single defensive snap from this last game, and they're going to fix everything. Yeah, we'll see. Better be a different mindset coming in against the Browns offense, which is one of the worst offenses this year. One of the worst offenses you're going to be playing this week. Sorry, next week, off the bye week. So Vic, to me, like, the adjustments suck entirely. Mental preparation sucks. Attitude, personality, finesse, grit, strength, like sense of urgency, playing pissed off like they did against the Saints. How did they not build off of that last week is still a big question. Now, lastly, on today's news is Devin White. Okay? I didn't mention this. I probably did. I might have forgotten. I don't know. But Devin White has not played a single game for the Philadelphia Eagles yet. Nakobe Dean, I don't know what's going on with him, but I don't like that he's missing 10 tackles in this last game. I think he missed like 10. I would say he missed 7 to 10 tackles in that game against the Bucs, okay? But what's even more weird about this situation, Devin White has been a healthy scratch every single week, and we're like, why? We don't believe that Devin White was never the starting middle linebacker for the Eagles, even though Vic says Nakobe Dean has beaten Devin White out from start to finish of training camp. Yeah, right. Okay. So Devin White wasn't even at the game, obviously. He was probably sitting home, and he goes on Twitter and he tweets out, he tweets against his own team because they were facing his original team was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He puts out a tweet of the strip sack for that, what Levante David did to Jalen Hurts. He posts that strip sack congratulating Levante David on the strip sack against his own team that he's on right now. I like what is going on with this? What is going on with these players doing weird shit? I have never seen a player not playing tweets out against his own team on a teammate that he played with in Tampa Bay, puts it out online, deletes it. Then he deletes the damn thing because he knows he was getting flack for it. Okay, so I don't get this whole situation. So is Devin White asking to be cut? Because we already heard from Michael Clay and the special teams coordinator already. He's not even on. He's not even playing. Obviously, they're not even trying him on special teams. There's not even an attempt. There's not even an attempt to put Devin White on special teams as of right now. So that's already confusing. But if Devin White is obviously not playing, I'm thinking that they're literally putting him on the trade block right now, that they're waiting for the moment, or they're talking to teams to at least get a draft pick as of right now for Devin White. Or this is a cry for help, saying Devin White saying, man, I should be starting. the linebacker position is suffering, which we really didn't think it was, because I think these players are just really put into bad situations. Like I said, continuance from last year, different coordinator, same problem. Devin White is probably asking to get traded or to be cut from this team. He's only making $4 million this year, so I don't think the Eagles are losing much if they just cut him. I think they would like to trade him. Me, I want to keep him because I feel like he should get playing time. I think Nakobe Dean and Devin White should be in somewhat of a competition for playing time right now. Or, like I said a million times, Zach Bond to the edge, move Devin White to Mike, and obviously have Nakobe Dean back there as well. That would work out, but I understand why they don't do that with Zach Bond full-time on the edge, because he's our best coverage linebacker. Nakobe Dean is not, and Devin White, I haven't seen enough to really give you an analysis. I think he has a nice balance, but I think Devin White is better at attacking the line, playing downhill mostly. So, is him being a healthy scratch the last 4 weeks because he's getting traded on the trade block? They're keeping him healthy for some weird reason. Why wouldn't you allow a veteran at linebacker to play in these games, or at least to try to attempt to get him on the field? It's still another big question going forward with this team at linebacker, because I've been liking Zach Bond a lot more than Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean is showing his stripes sometimes when it comes to his coverage, which just hasn't been great at all. And missed tackles. I don't know why. When one player starts missing tackles, the rest of the team starts missing tackles, and it seems like it's a cancer that just grows throughout a game that can't be cut out, that can't be stopped, that can't be fixed, and that's what is happening. So, in conclusion, this is a real shitty bye week with a lot of BS news that's not even positive right now. And I don't know what's going to happen here, but it's going to be interesting. Told you it was going to be a long video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And if you haven't liked the video, please like the video. It helps the channel tremendously. Let me know what you guys think about Slay, what they should do with him. What is your take on him? Vic Fangio, like, what is he doing wrong right now? Why isn't Bryce Huff even trying to, why isn't he is at least producing a little bit? I mean, not even nothing. Sidney Brown coming back, and obviously Cooper DeJean closing in on being the starting nickel, which I think will be a huge upgrade. And what is your take on Devin White going forward? Like, what do you think they're doing with him? A lot of things to really think about here. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope everybody enjoys their day. Make sure you go to BetUS, 150% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with promotional code YouTube150. And we'll see you on the next one. I have no answers for this. Culture damaged? Yeah, it's looking like it. And that ends your season pretty fast. See you guys on the next one. Peace out.